Hi, welcome back to Happy Apple Core Homestead. Today is part 1 of how to make Concord Grape wine. I harvested approximately 32 gallons of Concord grapes from my grapevines this year, and with some of them we're going to make a batch of wine, and we are going to make a 5-gallon batch. So the recipe that you'll see me doing now is for 5 gallons. Down in the description box I will put a link for just a 1-gallon recipe, and then you can just multiply it by however many gallons you want to do. Let's start by telling you the supplies that we're going to need. You're going to want a bucket that is bigger than the 5 gallons. So like a 6.5 gallon brew bucket is good. You're going to need a towel of some kind. And in here, and I'll show you a little bit later, but in here I have a mesh bag. It's an extra large mesh bag. I can put a link down in the description for where you can buy one for yourself. You'll need a spoon, a hydrometer, a wine thief, a teaspoon, and some kind of a measuring cup. All of these things here, including the mesh bag, have to be sanitized. I use Easy Clean, but whatever kind of, wine equipment sanitizer you want to use is fine. And I did bring out my pH test strips. We're not really going to need them for 2 reasons. There's enough acid in these grapes. We're not going to be adding any additional acid. And also because they're so dark, the color doesn't really show up on these. It works great for white wine, but not so great for the darker wines. And you'll need some Yeast Nutrient, some Campden tabs. We'll be crushing them later. They get crushed before they go into the bucket. And this is Pectic Enzyme. You're gonna need some of that. You're gonna need a lot of sugar and a lot of grapes. The only other thing that you'll need is water and wine yeast. Please don't use bread yeast to make your wine. You won't be happy with the outcome. Here in front of me I have 7 pounds of grapes, and the rest of the 30 pounds are already in here because I didn't have a bowl big enough to show you. And just so you know, it took me 5.5 hours to wash the grapes, like picking them off of the stems and washing them. It's good to take them off the stems when you're making wine. It wouldn't fit in here if you didn't, take them off of the little branches and the stems. I have my juicer over here because I'm going to juice some later, and you can leave the stems and stuff on for juicing, but for the winemaking, go ahead and take them off and make sure you wash them before you do like any of these things. I know that we had a really hot day and the flies are like, oh, time to lay our babies in your grapes. So yeah, that's a no. Make sure you rinse them. Make sure you're not using grapes that are moldy, bruised, split open, because you might get a little surprised if you do. A little disco rice. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move the camera so you can kind of see what I'm doing in the bucket, and we're going to start by putting the rest of the grapes into the bucket and into the mesh bag that I have here. You'll be able to see it in a second. And I'm keeping this covered just to make sure that no bugs or hair or whatever gets into it. We don't want to contaminate it. Even though we are using Campden tabs, it's super important not to contaminate your wine. Otherwise, all of your hard work and all of your produce will just be, and then we'll be sad. Okay, I will be back with you in a second. All right, that's how many grapes are in there so far, and let's just put the rest of the grapes in. Try not to spill them all over the floor. And so this is not water that you see pouring out of here. It's just grape juice, because when I picked them off when I was getting ready to wash them, they did start to split open at that point. Even though it would be probably super fun to use your feet for this, I'm not gonna do that. So I have a potato masher. I'm going to finish this up and I will show you the next step. Now that the grapes have been crushed, we're going to cinch up the bag And you can see all the grape juice down there. But we're gonna leave all of the seeds and the skins and everything in this bag. And I'm gonna tie it up really nice and tight so that none of it escapes later on in the winemaking process. Once I get this tied, we will move on to adding the other ingredients to make our wine. Spend some time just kind of squeezing out a little bit more of the juices from the bag, and now we're gonna add the water. For the 5-gallon batch, we will need 50 cups of water. We're gonna stop at 24 cups of water and go ahead and add the sugar and get that stirred in so that it can start to dissolve. Now that the sugar's in, we'll give it a good stir. Now, before we add the rest of the water, we're going to go ahead and add the other ingredients. And we'll start with 5 teaspoons of the Yeast Nutrient. And we'll give that a good stir. Next, we'll add 2½ teaspoons of the Pectic Enzyme. And get that incorporated in. Now typically with most wines, now would be the time to check the pH level. But again, because this is such a dark wine, it's not really going to show up that well. So here is the kit that I use. Of course, you can get more technical. They have digital ones that are effective even for red wine. But because my test strip is blue, you can see that when I put it in, it's a little bit more difficult to see the color. But we can see, even though it's a little bit more difficult, we still can see that it is 3.6, which is the proper acid range for wine. And of course, with Concord grapes, it's not necessary to add any additional acid, and so we won't be doing that. All right, last thing we need to add now is the Campden tabs. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those crushed and put those in. So here's the tabs, and we're gonna put 5 of them, 1 for each gallon of wine, into this baggie, and I'm just gonna crush them. It's not hard. You can just press them with the back of a spoon and they crush right up. All right, gonna put these in and get those mixed up. The Campden tabs are important because it kills off any natural yeast. And since we're using grapes, right from the vine, it's important that we use this. If you're using, juice from the grocery store or juice that you've run through your steam juicer, it's really not necessary to use it unless you really want to. You're not going to have the natural yeast like you will on the fresh fruit from the vine. Okay, now the very last thing to do before we let this rest is finish putting the water in. All right, that's a little bit less water than the recipe calls for. I'm not super worried about it. My bucket won't hold anymore, so we're gonna leave it here, and let's just go ahead and test the gravity reading for our records. To test the gravity reading, you'll take your wine thief and you'll pop it down in there until you get some wine inside. And then you'll take your hydrometer This is our hydrometer, and heavy side down, pointy side up, and you'll just spin it and let it plop down in there. And then you'll want to read your hydrometer right here where the dip goes down. And this will give you an idea of where your wine's at right now and what your alcohol content will be in the future. And we'll give it one last really nice stir. And then we're gonna cover it with a towel. You can alternatively cover it with the like a regular lid. I'm gonna keep stirring this until the sugar has completely dissolved. And I might actually do an additional hydrometer reading. So this was 1.065, which is perfectly sufficient for a table wine, but I'm thinking that it wasn't accurate because my sugar, I still have quite a bit of sugar down here on the bottom. So let me stir this for a minute. We'll do one more hydrometer reading and kind of see what we get. And then I'll tell you what to do before we move on. I got that stirred up and you know, kind of that sugar dissolved a little bit better. So let's do one more gravity reading just to see what the difference is between my first one and this one. Okay, yeah, that was a little bit different. It's still going to be a perfect table wine, but now that it's dissolved, it's more at about 1.08, which is, that's good. It's a little bit more what I was expecting. Either which way, it would have been a good table wine, even if it was at 1.065. So, I don't know if you can see that. I don't want to drip. I'm already making a huge mess on my floor, but there we go. You can kind of see that a little bit right there. At this point, we are done for today, and you'll just have to decide if you want to use a lid or a cotton cloth to cover it. I'm going to use the cotton cloth. It gives, I think, much better airflow. The lid that usually comes with these brewing buckets has a hole in it so that you can put an airlock in it. You'll want to use that if you use a tight lid like this. I'm not going to. And basically, I'm going to cover it with my cotton cloth, and I'm going to leave it alone until tomorrow at this time. So exactly 24 hours from now, I will add the yeast. This is a wine yeast. Please don't mind my dirty fingernails. My hands are clean. I'm a gardener. This is the yeast that you want to use. One packet is good for 5 gallons, but you can use a whole packet for 1 or 3 or whatever you're doing. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, my friends, that is the end of part 1 of making Concord Grape wine. Don't forget, 24 hours from now, sprinkle in your yeast, then cover it back up and leave it for 7 days. Now, I'm not going to show you part 2 is not going to be me just sprinkling in the yeast and then covering it back up. No, part 2 is going to be transferring the wine that has sat with the yeast for its 7 days, and I will show you how to re-rack it or rack it into a 5-gallon carboy. Make sure that if you're working along with me that you have all of your equipment sanitized and ready to go before you begin your next step. All right, you guys, I will see you next time. Bye.